Peace, Light, and Love. It's Sunday, June 21st, and this is a video dedicated to answering Candace Owens, a woman who claims there's nothing more that she'd love to do than raise a family, have kids, marry a man, and have kids. I'm sitting next to childcare, and I also work with kids, but a little bit older, when they can already talk. I think you have to have infinite amounts of patience. And I don't know where I had the energy to stay home and raise my kids, which I did for several years. I mean, I did take them to different activities. I never sat home with them, but it's just, you have to watch them. And they cry because they can't really talk. And it's a strain because you're an adult. You can talk. You can express yourself. You have things you want. Like, you want to drink a cup of coffee. You want to read the newspaper. You want to read a book. And when you're an educated woman, there's so many things you want to do because you are given the illusion that that the world is your oyster, right? Everything is possible, which is so untrue. If you haven't been there at a certain age, if you're not ambitious, if you're not pushy, you're not going to get anywhere. If you're just going to go with the flow, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to really be ambitious. And when Candace Owen goes to all these campuses, people listen to her. People give her the stage, and she says she prefers to being married with a kid, staying home, and feminism is all wrong. Feminism is the reason that Candace Owen can talk. Feminism is the reason she got an education. There was a time when women couldn't study. Women weren't allowed to study. And it's true, women are not listened to. And she attacked this woman. It was like a hawk attacking a dove. There was a soft-spoken woman in England, and she was talking about masculine toxicity, the way males oppress women, and she denied it. No, men don't oppress. Give me figures, give me statistics. Well, let me give you statistics. How many men sit at home while their wives go out to work? You tell me that. And I was more educated than my husband. Why did I stay home? I thought I could do more art. I could develop myself more. No, I just lost so much confidence, which I didn't have to begin with if I agreed to be a housewife. Women, don't give up your jobs. The fact that women can work is not something we take for granted. Why attack feminism? Why attack the civil rights movement? Why attack George Floyd? I also started to question whether George Floyd is a hero. I mean, the poor man was a victim of violence. Were you a victim of violence? And then she tells the woman, don't talk with your feelings, talk with your thoughts. Well, there's nothing wrong with feelings. Look at the president, your president of your country that you love so much, Donald Trump. He only works with feelings and emotions, knee-jerk reactions. So I think it's a little bit absurd to tell people not to think with their feelings. Feelings are a very strong motivating force. That's why people buy things. That's why people do things. That's why people get married. So what the hell are you talking about? Use your thoughts. Feelings are a sort of thought. Anyway, I want to tell Candace Owens to just shut up and stop attacking feminism, stop attacking liberal progressive thinking, and stop attacking Black Lives Matter because, after you watch documentaries about Martin Luther King and the whole civil rights movement, you just want to tell her, just shut up, Candace, shut up. So you had a nice grandfather, you keep telling, but that's your experience. But so many people grew up at a place where they didn't have a stable home and they didn't have a stable outside. They didn't have access to good schooling. And yes, sometimes the victim is a victim. Stop blaming the victim. Stop blaming African American people for their situation and start realizing what the white people did in America to Black people. Study your history, 400 years of slavery and oppression, and stop being on the side of the oppressor. It makes you unique. You're a good-looking woman. You had a wonderful life. You had a family who loved you, but not everybody has that. And a lot of African Americans are afraid. For a good reason. They could be just stopped over for nothing. So don't tell people not to be afraid. Don't tell them it's an illusion. So this is my sketchbook, because I'm not very ambitious. But this is what I did yesterday. It's drawing people. There was this... sometimes you get models for free. This guy was like And I think it's like everything else in life. I'm out of practice, so it's kind of me. Um, I'm a little bit out of practice, so anyway, I didn't do that many drawings as I wanted to. But I want to tell people, women, you don't really have his voice as much as you want to, because look at the government in Israel. How many women are in the government? How many women are in a strong position? Not that many. Of course, it's not an excuse for people not to get places, but when I, an educated woman with a master's degree in education from an American university in Boston and an undergraduate from Hebrew University, I'm working as a substitute teacher in kindergarten. That's sad because I get paid so little. And I'm an educated woman, so when I go to a kindergarten, they look at me like, who the hell are you? Who the hell are you? These women, they were like borderline retarded working in kindergartens because they don't. A woman that thinks, a woman that reads a newspaper, a woman who reads books has a difficult time in kindergarten. That's what my mom did. Now, there's an age where kids are amazing, where they could talk and they have all this imagination, and there's so many amazing kids, not only intelligent but creative. And if you get them at the age of 3 to 5, you can do so much with them. And I love that. But before 3, to work with them is so much limits, caretaking. And it's really hard when you have an education and you think thoughts to work with little kids. So I wanted to work in high school originally, but they just put so much pressure on you to do so much, this teaching certificate. I understand I have to do it. I have to become of society. I'm already at the age where people almost retire. But I'm going to call the seminar now and I'm going to see what I can salvage. And if I can somehow get a teaching certificate, get into teaching high school again, and not have a shakshuka in my brain and like a scrambled egg in my brain. Because when I hear kids cry and I'm thinking about Shakespeare, it doesn't work together. Yes, there are wonderful things I could do, like yoga, but I definitely would never work with little kids again under the age of 3. Not when I have a yoga for children teaching certificate, not when I can do so much. And on one hand, yes, I didn't take initiative, but the worst thing I ever did was to get married and quit my job. So people, don't listen to Candace Owen. Don't listen to anyone who tells you feminism is bad. It's not. A man that's worth your time will support you to do whatever you can, and he will appreciate you. I wasn't that ambitious, but I never thought to be just like raising kids, which is an important job, but I also want to do other things, because just like there's men who want to do things, women want to do things too. Women's life matter too, and that's what feminism says. Just because you're born with a certain genitalia doesn't mean that you should be taking care of kids while their husband goes out and goes to the office and does things. And no wonder then he cheats on his wife, because he doesn't appreciate her, because he's going out there, he has contact with human beings, adults, he's fulfilling himself. I mean, mine was a teacher, but he had contact with teachers. There are all kinds of things they did together. He got a really good salary, which he controlled completely. So feminism is important, and Black Lives Matter is important, and animal activism is important. All these people that work for a change are important. And people that say, oh, let's just keep everything the same, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. What, you don't want ethnic diversity? You want just everybody to live in their own little cocoon kind of world? That's bad, genetic-wise. Look at China. I mean, come on. Is that a good way to just keep everybody suppressed and everybody the same, not to allow anyone in that's different? I mean, the whole Middle East is like that. There's not a lot of ethnic diversity in our neighboring countries, is there? How many Africans do you see in Arab countries? How many Mexicans do you see in African countries? Here in Israel, there's so much diversity, especially Tel Aviv. Yes, there's a socioeconomic gap. There are people living in $5 million apartments, and it's really not justified in Tel Aviv. This is not New York. It's not a financial center. It is high tech, is definitely huge, but still, it's not New York. It doesn't have the opportunities for a person living in New York. I think if I'd lived in New York, I'd probably be sitting in the park and with a sketchbook too. I don't think my life would have been different, but it would have been a New York sketchbook and not a Tel Aviv sketchbook. I don't know if I'm going to stay here the rest of my life. I really don't. All I know is I want to get over my colds and I want to be in a place where I can use my mind and my brain. And I feel a lot of times when I'm with little kids, I'm almost getting to the stage where I can't even find words anymore. My vocabulary shrinks and diminishes. And on the one hand, my creativity grows and I'm inspired by children. 3 to 5, it's a wonderful age, but sometimes it's hard for me to think because I'm all overwhelmed by the energies and the tasks. And during the weekend when I don't have my peace and when I have somebody kicking a ball in my backyard, these settlers, they're like the Ku Klux Klan. I have these settlers from Mitzah who just don't care about neighbors, and that's exactly what they did to their Arab neighbors. They terrorize people around them, and they should be in prison. They shouldn't be given apartments here and allowed to run a synagogue. Granted, they're giving apartments by some kind of a right-wing, extreme right-wing organization. So I had this thing. It was Friday evening. It was a tough week. I came home after shopping, nonstop activities since 6 in the morning. And I just want to come back with my dogs, and I just want to relax and cook a bit and eat dinner, family dinner and all. And they're just kicking a ball in the entrance to my building because the synagogue is next door. And this kid argues with me that entrance to my building belongs to the synagogue too. Well, why don't I just move out and give the settlers my apartment? Wouldn't they love that? This is what settlers do. They just take over land, and it's not the Zionism I know. It's not the Zionism that purchased lands. It's not the Zionism that thought about living together with their neighbors. It's not the Zionism my ancestors brought forth. And I'm really angry that they're even here. I'm angry that they're here. I'm angry they're sitting without masks. And I'm angry that I have to fight on my own. And then a neighbor comes and he's a lawyer. Why do I have to fight the settlers on my own? Why? And then I realized God gave me a lot of power. I can't stand to see injustice. I can't stand to see a kid kicking a ball really hard, and I'm talking about boom, 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 after I work the whole week with kids. And sometimes the noise is just overwhelming. I just really feel like my brain is scrambled eggs. And I really love the kids.